It's justice. Kendo was everything that Jedi are.
The Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice before the dark times.
When we started, a combination of samurai and Western sword fighting.
The originals, it feels like it's a spiritual thing.
4, 5, and 6, I kept improving the sword fighting. Faster, more intense.
In the prequels, the fighting style was set. All we had to do was evolve it. Kendo became my base ingredient. You know, Kendo movies. The speed, the balance, the agility.
Kendo is fast, it's aggressive. There's an element of danger. Sign up.
There is a saying in Kendo, 1,000 days training for one moment of reckoning. It's the way of the sword.
Welcome to the historic Palace Theater in downtown Los Angeles, California. I'm Mark Hamill. Nearly 40 years ago, I was cast as Luke Skywalker, the hero in the original Star Wars trilogy. The new chapter, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, is in theaters this Friday. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take you behind the scenes of the lightsaber duels, those epic battles using this, perhaps the most iconic weapon in the history of cinema. We'll explore the real martial art behind the evolution of those duels, a sport called Kendo. And we'll journey to the 2015 Kendo World Championships in Japan. That is where our story begins, a long time ago, in a country far, far away. For a time in the late 60s, Japan was my home. My father was a captain in the Navy, and I went to Yokohama High School for 2 years. It was here as a teenager that I learned about Japanese culture, discovered its history, and the samurai, elite noble military warriors, loyal until death.
戦いがいっぱいありました。必ずいい武将は相手を殺した後でも墓を建て、敬い、末代まで手を合わせて拝むというそういう風習が残ってますし。
That culture changed at the turn of the 17th century. The samurai gave up genjutsu, the art of killing.
戦国時代が過ぎますと、刀を日本刀を持って戦う必要がなくなった。そうした時に侍は自分の腕が落ちるんじゃないかということで日常的にやっぱり稽古をする。
So they began training with bamboo swords called shinai and created a sport, Kendo. Eventually, the legend of the samurai made its way to film. One of the most influential Japanese filmmakers was Akira Kurosawa, whose martial arts movies inspired many, including a certain director who would change my life forever.
Huge fan of Kurosawa's. The first one I saw was Seven Samurai, and after that I was completely hooked. I said, this is really good.
George Lucas took inspiration from those samurai films, sci-fi adventures, and countless other influences to help create his own space opera.
Star Wars, coming this summer.
When we first started filming in March of 1976, the samurai influence was clearly evident. I saw it in Darth Vader, in his armor and his mask, and in the Jedi Master, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
George Lucas suggested to me something of a samurai warrior in one way, hence I'm partly dressed like this.
Hello there.
Take 250, take 7.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic.
Jedi were like marshals in the Old West. They're the keepers of the peace.
Your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. An elegant weapon in a more civilized age.
George wanted a lightsaber because he wanted Errol Flynn with the sword
And it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so they wouldn't have swords, so what could they have? And he came up with the idea of a laser sword.
Eventually, George changed the name of laser sword to lightsaber.
This idea of the lightsaber and the idea of this blade and the sort of myth that comes with the blade, it wasn't just a weapon. There was a great power to the story behind it.
In order to create a unique style of sword fighting for the Star Wars universe, George brought in Peter Diamond, legendary stuntman and coordinator.
Peter Diamond combined several different kinds of sword fighting. It was a combination of Errol Flynn, Seven Samurai, Kurosawa sword fighting.
Then on June 1st, 1976, came the first ever lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader.
When I left you, I was the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, Darth.
Sir Alec Guinness did his own swordplay. So did David Prowse, the man inside the Vader suit.
Alec Guinness had been trained to do sword fighting on stage, sort of Shakespearean duels.
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
In the original script, the character Obi-Wan Kenobi was meant to survive. But during shooting, it became clear that for the sequence to work, Kenobi had to be killed off in the lightsaber duel. This gave life to a crucial point of the saga's lore.
By sacrificing himself, then Kenobi shows to Luke Skywalker that there's something beyond life.
Run, Luke, run.
The idea of sacrifice is part of the samurai code.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
In the next chapter, The Empire Strikes Back, I would get my chance to use a lightsaber. On the ice planet Hoth, in the swamps of Dagobah, and finally, on Cloud City. As part of my training, I lifted weights, studied martial arts. I also learned kendo for the first time.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
The final battle took weeks of rehearsal and even longer to film the scene.
Take 2, action!
We expanded the lightsaber duel by adding acrobatics and detailed choreography. They even brought in Bob Anderson, England's 1952 Olympic fencer, to fight as Vader.
They had a special stunt Vader helmet that he wore so he could see better, bringing a level of skill to Darth Vader's swordsmanship that otherwise would be lacking.
The original line from Vader was, "Obi-Wan killed your father." But little did I know, the script had changed.
I am your father.
We had created a new style of lightsaber battle and took the first step into a larger world.
I kept improving the sword fighting, faster and more intense, as Luke became more proficient in the art of sword fighting.
When we reached Return of the Jedi, it was all about the final duel, this time in the Emperor's throne room.
Seeing the two of them fighting together, I felt that I was witnessing iconic history of the sword fight.
Luke's hope, fear, and anger poured out in the duel with his father.
Never. I'll never turn to the dark side. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
My journey as Luke Skywalker was complete, but little did we know, it was just the beginning. Ahead, the evolution, the sport behind it, and an exclusive look behind the scenes of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. This is SC Featured. This is Evolution of the Lightsaber Duel.